It's interesting. I'm talking about letting go, and I'm letting go again. And I've been talking about the book by David Hawkins, Letting Go to Surrender. And, the book was great, but I have this habit. I read books and things like that, and it's like it's good, but. There's always that but. So I go through the book, and and he's describing how at the end, you've learned to let go, you've done the exercises, and life is perfect. And he tells these stories of how people have gone through this, and life is perfect. Well, I have to tell you, I have been practicing letting go my entire life, and life has never been perfect. It's been good. It's been great sometimes, but just about when I think I got it, I did all his exercises, I have got it, I'm at peace, boom, something happens. Because what I have learned is it isn't that easy. He gives all this stuff, which is great, and then everything is going to be wonderful, and then something happens, and, I got to let go of that too. That's one more thing I got to let go of. So I love Savannah. I've always loved Savannah, long before he ever came here. And I had packed my car up, and I was staying like one building away from where I lived when I was here. So I was in my old neighborhood, and it's downtown, and I just love it. And, I just love that energy. And I'm packing up, and I'm walking out of the apartment, and I don't want to let it go. I'm thinking, I don't want to let this go. And then I'm driving here, and I'm going, I don't want to let this go. I did all those exercises. I should have a degree in letting go. Why am I having such a hard time letting go? One more time I got to let go. When does it ever end? So I've always said it will end on my last breath, and they will say, she finally got it when she learned to let go. That's it. When I am dead and buried, I will then have learned how to let go. Because think about it, that's the ultimate letting go. Because as long as we're on this planet, on this plane, and in this body, we are going to be letting go. And the thing is, we can do it easily, or we can do it not easily. So I always compare myself to the Israelites. I was brought up Jewish, so, we always had to do, I really didn't like it, but we always had to read the Seder on Passover, and we had to hear the story over and over and over again about how the Israelites left Egypt and all this stuff. And I remember at the time thinking, this is so ridiculous. I could find all these little holes in this story that didn't make any sense. But I realized as I got older that I could relate to them. Because think about it, they did not want to let go. Moses came to them and said, we're going, and they're like, we're not going. And he's like, but we need to go, we're slaves. We're going to have freedom, we're going to be in the promised land. And I don't want to go. I know my neighbors, and I know where the grocery store is, and I'm familiar with everything, so I don't want to let go. And then what happens? Boom, disaster, 10 plagues, which is sometimes what it is for me. They're like plagues that happen to me. And then I have no choice, just like the Israelites, to leave, whether I want to or not. I'm going. And then I'm finally okay with the fact that I'm letting go, I'm picking up my stuff, and I'm going on. And then what happens, I start the journey and I go, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I think that was a little rash on my part. Maybe I should have thought about it a little bit longer, because all of a sudden that decision doesn't seem right. I was talking to someone about this before. We get in, we do something really quick, and then we go, well, maybe that wasn't the best idea. And then what happens, just like with the Israelites, they're complaining because they complain a lot. I relate to that also. So they're complaining because all of a sudden they don't want to go where they're going. And they're really murmuring, they murmur. We all murmur, under our breath. We're going, I don't want to do that. I don't know. I got to do that. I got to do it. Anyway, so they get over the Red Sea. They don't want to go across the sea, but they got to go. So it's interesting. I just got to share this. So what's interesting is I saw a movie of a remake of the Ten Commandments, basically. And in this remake, which is a very modern version of it, you know, and when you see the old Ten Commandments, or you read a Passover book over and over and over again, it's always like they get to the Red Sea and the sea parts and they walk through. It should just be that easy, right? They walk through, everything is fine, the Egyptians come, the water covers them, life is good. Well, in this movie, the Egyptians are coming at them, and the river doesn't part. They have to go into the Red Sea, and they have to get almost up to their waist and get their animals in the Red Sea before it opens up. And that is what happens most of the time in my life, maybe not yours, but mine, is I have to take a step of faith, even when it doesn't seem like it's the right thing. Even though I think this is the wrong thing. I'm already in the water. You know, I'm up to my waist. I cannot turn around. The Egyptians, which represent my old thinking, they're at my back going, you can't do this. You're never going to be able to do this. Why do you think you can do this? And then I've got this other thing going. You have to keep going forward because you can't turn around and go back because the waters are starting to come in and your old thinking is chasing you, going, you can't do this. Why are you doing this? Why are you making this change and all of that? So what I found in Stephen Hawking's book is he made it seem so easy. It would be nice if it was so easy. It would be nice if once I learned how to let go, you know, everything would be fine. And then he gives you all these stories about these wonderful things that happen to people. And you know what? They've happened to me. I have let go of things and miracles have happened. But there's always another challenge. Just when I think I got this, I'm going to write a book. I can write a book about letting go. I can write a book about letting go and see all these incidents that were so perfect. I got this down pat. I'm an expert now at letting go. And the fact of the matter is, I have had many miracles happen. But, you know, it's progress, not perfection. We're never going to be perfect. You know, Jesus said only God is perfect. You know, we are working on it. And if we're lucky, we are working on it in a positive way, going toward what it is we want. As soon as we think we have it, guess what? We don't. It's like humility. As soon as you think you're humble, you're not. You know, you're not. Think about it. Humility is not thinking better of yourself or less of yourself. As soon as you start thinking better of yourself, you're not humble. As soon as you start thinking worse of yourself, you're not humble. As soon as you just accept yourself for who you are, then maybe you're getting some humility. So there I am comparing myself to the Israelites. And like I said, I've had some miracles happen. Coming to Savannah was a miracle. Coming to this church years ago because I wasn't even looking. I was very happy where I was. I was like the Israelites. I was in Egypt, and Egypt represents the mind, and it represents substance. So I'm in a church that's going very well. I have a house I love. It's on a lake. We have a dock. I have my dogs. I have my cats. Everything is fine. And Savannah has an opening. I think to myself, oh, Savannah. Christopher and I, we love Savannah. It would be nice living in Savannah. But you know what? I'm comfortable where I'm at. Why would I leave? So I'm just going to stay where I'm at because that's not for me. And I get a notice because Unity sends out these notices, and I get a notice and it says, Savannah has closed, meaning they're not taking any more applicants. So I thought, okay, I wasn't going to apply anyway. And I go to Hilton Head. We go to Hilton Head with our dog one day, and we're walking along the beach. I have to tell you, I'm a Pisces. I'm a water person. So my previous church was in Atlanta, which is waterlocked. There's I'm on Hilton Head near Savannah. There's all that water. And I mentioned to my husband, I said, Savannah had an opening. And he was like, well, why didn't you apply? I said, because everything is fine. We're comfortable where we're at. I don't think I need to go to another church. And it's Savannah. It's got water and trees. What more could you want? And I'm like, I know, but it's closed. Forget about it. I got to let it go. Come back the next day, open up my computer, looking at my mail, and Savannah has reopened. They got through all these candidates. They were down to 2. They decided neither one was right, and they decided to go through it again. And I think, thank God, sometimes, which isn't really my thought if it's a good thought, I get the thought, maybe I should apply because it opened up. It was like a message. So I thought, well, I'll apply. I have nothing to lose. And then I got the job. So I have found in my life many times, many times, when I let go of something, miracles do happen. You would think I would learn that, but I am a slow learner. So I like to hang out sometimes. I call it the space in between. I think about it like a trapeze. They are on one trapeze, and you have to let go and to get the other trapeze. Now, there is a point. You are on neither trapeze. You're in the air, and you are not old trapeze or new trapeze. You are just floating there. And think about our life sometimes. That's what letting go is like. We let go of something. We don't get necessarily what we're going to get. We're kind of floating in that space, wondering, why did we let go of that? And how am I going to get this? And how is it all going to work out? So I tell this story, and a lot of you have probably heard it, but it just indicates, even before I was on this spiritual path, how this whole thing of letting go became so important. So many years ago, in another lifetime, in another universe, far, far away, how Star Wars is. Anyway, I'm in another universe, and my children are very young. They're like 2 boys, 10 and 12 or 9. I don't remember, but they were at that age. How many people here have had sons? So you understand that boys sometimes get to a point in life where, at least my children, one of their favorite activities was embarrassing their mother. That was just like for fun. Let's see if we can embarrass our mother. So we go to Disney World, and I just had enough money for one night. So the next day, I didn't know where to take them. So I went to Circus World, which was Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus World. And they had all kinds of stuff for circus and everything. And they had a participating circus. And what it was is they picked people from the audience to do different acts. So they have the clowns, and they put them in costume, and they have the animal trainer. They even got someone on the high wire and all of that. And then comes the big finale. Now, if you've been to a circus, all circuses have a big finale, and the finale is usually their trapeze artists. And every trapeze act has got 3 people. They've got an older guy that's experienced, and a young, beautiful woman, and a young man. And I always like to compare it to the Big Top. It's an old movie with Burt Lancaster, Gina Lollobrigida, and Tony Curtis. A lot of you are too young to remember this, but they were all pretty young at the time. Some of you don't even know who they are. But anyway, I like to call the characters in this story Burt, Gina, and Tony, just because it's easier than this, that, and the other. So Burt is the older guy. He's at the bottom of the ladder. Gina's on one trapeze, and Tony's on the other. And the ringmaster asks for a volunteer to do the trapeze. Now, I have to tell you, I have a fear of heights. I'm very short, very short. So I tend to look at things from a lower perspective than taller people. So my sons decide, they know I'm afraid of heights, they decide it would be fun to volunteer their mother. So the ringmaster's going, can I have a volunteer? Can I have a volunteer? And my children are going, pick her, pick her, pick her. I am like on the floor trying to not be seen. And they're making such a big deal about this. The ringmaster thought it was so cute. You know, I wanted to kill him, but he thought it was cute. He picks me. He says, that lady. And I'm like, I'm not going up there. I got to climb that ladder. It's really high up there. I'm not going up there. I'm going to kill my children instead. And then I won't have to go. So they finally get me out there. And the whole time I'm thinking, how do I get out of this? And how do those kids die? You know, that was it. That was my whole thinking. I am going to get them back. And so I get to the ladder, and Bert says to me, take off your shoes and climb up the ladder. I'm thinking, you can climb up the ladder. I'm not climbing up that ladder. And before I know it, I'm climbing up the ladder because he's kind of like pushing me up this ladder. So I start climbing up on the ladder, and I get up on the platform, and it is so high. I just want you to know it's very high. And although there is a net, it is a long way between the platform and the net, very far. So I get up there, and Gina says to me, this is what we're going to do. Tony is going to take the trapeze. I'm going to swing it out to Tony. Tony's going to swing it back. You're going to grab the trapeze. You're going to swing out there. Tony is going to tell you to let go. You're going to let go, and Tony is going to grab your hands. I'm still thinking of how I'm going to kill my kids. I don't quite hear everything that she is saying to me because I am just so scared and so determined that those children are not going to make it back to Miami. And so I'm up there, she's up there. Tony, she's got her little trapeze, she swings it out, it comes back, and she says, she takes my hand, she says, grab it. And before I know it, I am off the platform, hanging on this trapeze. And I swing out, and Tony swings in, and he screams, let go. I scream, no. So he goes back to his platform. Well, he doesn't go back. He swings back again, and he says to me, let go. Now I scream, hell no. Each time he's screaming, let go, my language is getting a little stronger. Finally, he's tired of going back and forth because this crazy lady is not letting go. And I'm thinking things like my lenses are probably going to fly out of my eye and hit someone on the forehead. I'm going to fall to my death. I'm going to fall in the net. I'm going to land. I'm going to break my whatever. I just will not let go. Everybody is laughing at me. However, my children are laughing so loud. They are on the ground. They are just probably going, they are just laughing so loud. And Tony has given up. Gina has given up. Bert, everyone has given up. I'm still up there by myself on a trapeze, going back and forth and back and forth. Everyone now is laughing and screaming, let go. The whole circus is screaming, let go. I'm not letting go. There's no way I'm letting go. And so what happens is, eventually, the trapeze loses its momentum, and it stops. Now I'm in dead air, hanging on to this trapeze. And I'm thinking, I am going to die. I will never get a chance to get back those children. I am going to die here. And finally, what happened is my hands got so tired and my arms got so tired, I had no choice. I had to let go. I couldn't hold on anymore. And I found something that happens when that happens. When I let go, I was thinking I was going to let go, land in the net, jump, I was going to fall out of the net onto my head, and that was going to be it. But what happened was I fell in the net, and the net came up and surrounded me. And what I've learned over the years, although I didn't realize it then, is that is what happens to us in our life when we let go. God is the net that comes and surrounds us. There's a gospel song I love, and it says, "Still I will trust you." You know, no matter what happens in my life, no matter how things look, still I will trust you. Still I will follow. And that is the net of God's grace. So no matter what happens in our life, no matter how scary letting go is, no matter how unsure we are, we're hanging there in between, we remember that God is the grace. God's grace is the net. And we are never left to drop on our heads. We are always protected. It may not wind up like we wanted. I didn't want to be in that net. I didn't want to do that. But it is usually exactly what we need. See, when I learn to let go and let God, I'm saying, I trust you, Spirit. I trust you that you know what is best for me, even when I don't. So close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. It's not easy letting go. It would be great if we could learn this magical way of letting go, and never, ever did we have to face that again. But that is not life. Life is a series of letting go. But the one thing that I am sure of is that when I let go, God's will for me is always greater than anything I can imagine. And so one of my favorite affirmations is, God's will not take me where God's grace will not keep me. And so one more time I let go, and one more time I trust that net of God's grace, always enfolding me, always surrounding me, and always letting me know I never have to do it alone. And for that, I am truly grateful. And so it is. Amen.